looks like a good place to camp.
Each year around Veterans Day, I like to make a video in honor of our veterans. And the way I do that is using nothing but military surplus gear. This gear is usually cheap, durable, and really fun to use.
So we're camping tonight at Coyote Creek State Park. We have a group coming tomorrow, so I thought it would be a good time to make this video. Surplus gear. One of the great things about surplus gear is how durable it is. It's going to last you forever, and how inexpensive it is. So if you're just starting out camping or whatever, surplus gear is a good way to go. So this is the MSS sleep system. Very warm because it's in layers. One bag, two bags, and then it's inside this Gore-Tex bivy. And one of the interesting kind of scientific things about this Gore-Tex, people think that the Gore-Tex is what's waterproof, but really what makes this waterproof is the super tight weave. So it's not that the fabric is inherently waterproof, it's how tightly woven the fabric is. And then, so it keeps water out, but lets air escape so it's breathable. And that's how we're going to sleep tonight. So there are basically three types of camouflage. There's what we call crypsis, which is where you blend into your surroundings. Mimic, which is like mimicking your surroundings, like a stick bug mimics the stick that it's on. And then there's something called dazzle, which is like grasshoppers come flying out of the grass and sometimes show red, and they sort of distract you. Dazzle is also a good example, like if you think about World War I when they painted the ships in weird things to confuse submarines. So we have 5 different camouflages. Camouflage is always evolving. So I think this was the U.S. Army in like, I don't know, the 2000s. This is the Marine Corps. They call this MARPAT. I'm not sure what that stands for. This is Flecktarn. This is German camouflage. This is your good old woodland camouflage. And this is desert camouflage. And what we're going to do is a little scientific test. We're going to see which one is the best camouflage for our surrounding areas. So it would be a good time to pause the video, put in the comments what you think, and then see if you're right. So this is the U.S. Army camouflage up until, I'm not sure, the early 2020s. It was abandoned for a more green one, but this was developed to be kind of camouflage in all environments. So what do you think? Is it working? So this is your good old woodland camouflage. This was the standard for a very long time in the U.S. Army, designed mainly for European battlefields to blend in in the green and browns of Europe. So this is a tarp done in the Marine Corps Marpat pattern. This is like one of the first generations of digital camouflage that's been done. And digital camouflage is obviously all done by computers. But just like every other camouflage, the idea is to break up your silhouette so you don't stand out in your environment.
I messed up with my microphone on this segment, but this is the German Flecktarn pattern used by the German military. What do you think? I think this one was probably the best, but I don't want to influence the voting.
So one of my favorite all-time movies is called A Bridge Too Far. And in A Bridge Too Far, British paratroops drop into the town of Arnhem in Holland. And as they're running through town, one of the commanders says to another guy, "I think we've got the wrong camouflage."
You know, something just occurred to me.
What was that, sir?
We're wearing the wrong camouflage. It's all very well for the country, but I doubt very much if it's going to fool anyone in the towns. Come on.
I think I've got the wrong camouflage. This is a desert pattern, and clearly we're in the woods here. So I gotta be honest, we're not going completely military surplus today, or military style. We're gonna eat good. So we're gonna have some steak, potatoes, and a little bit of corn, but I'm gonna open our can of corn using the US military, what's called a demo knife. It's basically the military's version of a Swiss Army knife. And these can openers are kind of tough to use.
Oh, you know, there's an easy way to do that.
Oh,
This
yeah?
is called a P38. And this is what we used in basic training. In 1983, we had these were one of the last units to eat sea rats. And if you look, there's a little hole here. And through your dog tags, it went. And if you look here, it actually folds in. And so that way, if you went in the front leaning rest position, you didn't get poked. So we're going to take this P38. Paul's already started a hole here. We're going to see how quickly we can get this thing open. So basically, if you wanted to eat a sea ration, you had to know how to use a P38. And then we see we're
Daniel has put me in charge of seasoning the steaks while the fire burns down. It's going to use a little bit of Montreal steak spice. So while Daniel is cooking our steaks, tending to the steaks, I'm going to warm up the corn. I'm going to do that using the M1942 stove, which actually this one was manufactured in 1945. So might be wondering, is there any science involved in this? And there actually is. You see that it's flaming like that. That is not how it's going to work when it starts running. It actually has a generator in there that has to get heated up. And once that gets to a certain temperature, it will vaporize the fuel, and then the stove will burn a lot better. So just give it a second here. Try and preserve my eyebrows. But that's going to settle down in just a second. And now we're ready to cook. And by the way, we're cooking in a 1969 Mountain mess kit that needs a little adjustment. The stove needs a little adjustment. And now we are saying, as they say, cooking with gas. perfect steak ready to be consumed, and we're enjoying it with an ode to World War I. We've gone World War II, we've gone Vietnam. I don't think we have any Korean stuff, but these lanterns, these candle lanterns, were used in the trenches of World War I, actually. This is a replica. It's still pretty cool. So I don't know if you can see it, but it has begun to rain very hard. Luckily we have this shelter, but this is a good time to talk about a little bit more surplus science. So these older school military flashlights actually have a storage compartment in the bottom, and that storage compartment holds 4 different lenses: blue, red, green, and yellow. Each one of those lenses has a different use. Let's check them out. So the red light is the most famous, and most people know that the red light is sort of used for maintaining night vision. So it won't completely maintain night vision. If you stare into the red light, you'll still lose night vision, but not nearly as fast as a white light. So the green light helps you see in low visibility situations a little better. Obviously, it's a light. But the thing that green light does is it enhances animals' eyes at night, so you can see animals better. But it also does not disrupt nocturnal animals as much as a bright white light would. So the blue lens actually helps you find blood. So that would be useful in finding a blood trail for something like that. It also helps you see, which would have been very useful today, in fog and haze and things like that. And finally, the yellow light just has less glare. I've also heard that yellow light like this is less attractive to insects and all. So yellow light is the least exciting, but now you know why a military flashlight comes with 4 different lenses. So we're doing this as if we're straight out of a Tom Clancy movie or something, using our red light on our military lensatic compass. Now, a compass is always going to point to magnetic north. True north, you're going to have to know the declination for where you're at. But the benefit to a lensatic compass is it is a little bit more accurate, which would be important if you're calling in artillery or something. But these military compasses have a really cool feature that hopefully we're going to be able to film here in a second. They're actually radioactive. Let's see if we can see it. As you can see, this is actually glowing. But it's glowing not because your normal glow in the dark that needs to be held under light. This is actually glowing because it's got something called tritium in it. And tritium is actually a radioactive isotope of hydrogen. It's made by irradiating lithium and actually has about a 12.5-year lifespan, or half-life. So if you have a really old version of this compass, it may not be glowing anymore. But newer versions will still be glowing and irradiating you at the same time. No, just a little bit of radiation. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us on another Sandia Mountain Natural History Center quick trip. Special thanks, as always, to all our veterans. We post every Sunday, and once a year we do one of these veterans videos, so check us out then. Special thanks to Daniel Bush, who helped me film this video, Army veteran and Air Force veteran. We'll catch you on the next one.